I believe above all of enjoying wine, but I definitely think that your enjoyment is enhanced by knowing some stories and some basics about how a wine is made. I think that wine is a very different beverage to many drinks in that you can feel personally and emotionally connected to it. And the best way to fall in love with wine is to know more about the people that make it and about the places that it comes from and the history that goes into making it. Unquestionably, wine tastes different depending on where it's from and on the geography and the history behind where a wine is from, but also the people that make it have an influence. I think the more you get to know certain producers, their personalities come through in the wines that they make. And it adds another layer of interest if, for example, you know that somebody new has just bought a winery and they've started investing in the winery itself, or in opening a great restaurant or encouraging wine tourism. Those things might not specifically impact the taste, but they impact your enjoyment because you can talk about it, you can chat with your friends about what's happening, you can go and meet the winemaker, and all of those things make wine more of an experience. One of the things that appeals to me about living in Bordeaux and writing about wine is that wine in Bordeaux is Bordeaux. So I think the figure is 4 out of every 10 adults works in wine in Bordeaux. It's other than aeronautics, it's the most important financial contribution to the region. But emotionally, it's got to be 90% of the contribution to the region. So I enjoy enormously that feeling of getting to know something that's so important to a region. I think I know the wines of Bordeaux very well because I live here, and because I taste them all the time and I know the people, and I feel the longer I live here, the more I feel it's very hard to do justice to other regions, because I'm so aware of, even living here and knowing so much, you can never know everything. So I become much more aware that if I write about other areas, I really want to do them justice. One of the things that, if you choose to get to know a bit about wine, is that you're likely to buy wine which is slightly better quality. And there's a debate that always rages about at what point, how much you have to spend on a bottle of wine to really get a difference in quality. And I would say personally, below €5, good luck. Between 5 to 10, you're likely to get some fantastic wines. Once you go over €10, then you really should start to get exciting wines. And if you bring that back to enjoyment of life, a good wine should have good persistency. It should last a long time in your mouth. If you've chosen a wine which does have that and has that innate feeling of balance without trying too hard, just does what it's supposed to do, you kind of naturally relax when you're drinking it. You smile, you enjoy it. You are much more likely to linger over it, to not drink it too quickly, knock it back. If you're buying a wine which is less expensive or less well made, and it has no persistency, so its taste disappears very quickly, you're far more likely to drink it quickly because you're trying to keep that taste in your mouth, and you're less likely to just take the time to enjoy yourself. So I think that there is a link between enjoyment of the bottle of wine, how slowly you're approaching it, just letting yourself enjoy it. And I definitely think the French have a good balance for doing that, for enjoying wine over a meal, taking their time with their wine. One of the nice, and I guess you're right, quite surprising things about when you start learning to taste wine is how much the smell of a wine is 50% of the enjoyment of it. So I happen to have a glass of wine here. I'm afraid it's white. I like Bordeaux white wine. This is a Bordeaux white. This is about the right level of wine. Even if you're at home, if you're in a restaurant, doesn't matter where, don't fill your glass too high, because you don't want all those beautiful aromas to escape to the room. You want them to stay captured in the glass, so that even without trying, when you're taking a sip, you get those aromas, they will automatically become part of your experience of the wine. And if you miss out on that part of it, then you go too quickly. You just jump right into the tasting, and you haven't let your senses awaken with the smell first. So you're right, I hadn't thought about that for a while, but that's one of the things which you, without even trying, get the hang of when you're living in France, and that's how people approach it.